Hey all, happy Monday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end. So we are working on the Missouri Star Quilt Co. quilt from one of their block publications here. I did put the link to the publication. They have a PDF version that you can download instantly. Here is the quilt. It is the Triangle Tango quilt. Pretty adorable. So I decided to choose this quilt. Here's the size of one of the blocks. Because I got this adorable fabric and I wanted to showcase the fabric, so I didn't want to chop it up in a bunch of different little pieces. So I thought these half square triangles showed off the fabric quite a bit. Look at those little suns. All right, I am going to flip you guys around. We are at the part where we have sewn our 10-inch squares together. Here we go, our 10-inch squares, and we are going to, first of all, we're going to press them, and then we are going to cut them on the diagonals, and that will give us 4 half-square triangles for each of our 10-inch squares. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out the videos prior to this one. They're available on the Penguin and Fish YouTube page, Penguin and Fish Movies. And yeah, we will get going. So thanks again for joining me, everyone, tonight. Hope you had a great Mother's Day and a great weekend. I'm going to flip you guys around. Okay, here we are. I'm set up for some pressing today. Okay, here again is the publication. It's the Missouri Star Quilt Co. They do a publication called Block. So this is the, get it in focus here, there we go, the Fall Volume 1, Issue 5 version. And again, I put a link on there if you guys wanted to download. It's got a whole pile of patterns in it. I mean, ooh, gosh, look at that one. That one's awfully cute. We might have to do that one at some point. But yeah, so there's that raid quilt. That's the one that my husband wanted to do, and it was in the same magazine, so we got lucked out there. But yeah, so here we are, the Triangle Tango quilt. Again, these little tiny triangles, this is actually the size of the triangles here. So they are quite big. I believe this is a king-size quilt here. So yeah, so it has all the instructions in there, and here's like the digital version of it. So we are at the point where we are making our half-square triangles. Then we still have to sew sashing on 2 sides. And then once we're done with that, so it's just 2 sides here, then there's a special way of turning them just right, just to get, like row 1, row 2, there's a special way to rotate the blocks. And that's going to give us our cute little quilt top. So we are at half square triangle making stage. So a half square triangle is a square that's divided on the diagonal, and you got, a triangle on each side. Half square triangle, or HST, is the quilting term for a square chopped down the middle like that. Okay, so we just finished sewing around all 4 edges of our 10-inch square last time we were here on Friday, and before I do any cutting, I did want to give it a little press, because you can see it's a little wobbly. Just pressing it will kind of set the seams and flatten it all out, and then it'll be way easier for us to cut those 2 diagonals. So we're just going to go over all these. There are 31 of these because we've already done one. All right, there we go. So we ultimately had 32, and then I made a whole pile extra half square triangles with some strips because I didn't have enough 10-inch squares, basically. And you guys, I did look up who did this fabric collection and the other fabric collection with the little ponies, but don't have my little slip of paper that I wrote it on, so I will get that tomorrow, and I'll put a link to them as well if you guys wanted to find any of this fabric. I had a friend who said that she was going to maybe make some baby bibs out of it, and I thought that was an adorable idea. Wouldn't this make like the cutest little baby bibs? Oh my god. Especially the dark colors versus like the light colors, I'm thinking. All right, so we just gotta cruise through this pile today. We're definitely doing this quilt, geez, in the kind of factory way of doing it. This is kind of how I like calling it, where you just do one step, and then you do the next step and the next step. Even when we sewed these squares, you know, we have to sew all the way around these squares. Even with that, I just sewed one line at a time, every single piece before moving on. And I think that just kind of, it's relaxing for one. You get to just do the same pace. Oh, Gretchen, you splurged to get the dandelion fabric. Oh my gosh, you're so in love with it. I am too, so much. I just love the colors, those dark. Actually, the colors are quite a bit like this thing, like this here, like kind of a black or dark color with some brighter yellows and whites and stuff. We're talking about the when I bought this fabric at another store nearby, I bought some other very cute fabric. I would call it very pretty fabric versus cute fabric. It had like these beautiful drawn dandelions on it. And there were some good coordinating ones, and the colors were just gorgeous, and they were just beautiful. And that was the Dandy Andy, or wait, Dandy Andy, or was it Dandy Annie? I think it's Dandy Annie, isn't it? But yes, Tracy, that's the collection. So it's oh gosh, is it Moda now? I think it's Moda. Moda is the manufacturer, and then I think it's Dandy Annie. I might be wrong. If it's not Dandy Annie, then it's Dandy Andy. Oh, it is Annie? Okay, so it's Annie. Dandy Annie. So cute. But yeah, I haven't done anything with those yet. It's that's some of those fabrics like, oh, it's too pretty to cut into. I definitely don't feel so much like that anymore. Do you guys feel like that ever? I know that I had some fat quarters on my shelf for over a decade because they were just too pretty to cut into. But now I think I'm a little over that. Now I'm in the mindset that you're honoring the fabric by making it into something. So when I think about it that way, then it feels really good to cut into the fabric. But before, it's just like, oh, this is just too beautiful. I can't wreck it by cutting into it. Oh, you're making this one with the Dandy Annie. Oh, that's awesome, Gretchen. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, if you guys are making this quilt, this triangle tango quilt, be sure to share it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. I'd love to see how it's going. I know a few people, I think, posted where they're at with it so far. It's such an easy quilt. This is a totally easy block to make. If you're using a layer cake, which is a stack from a whole collection, a whole fabric collection, a stack of 10-inch squares that a manufacturer kind of pre-cuts for you, that's what the instructions kind of ask for. So I had to make my own 10-inch squares, but I'd be curious if any of you are using a layer cake, how that's going. You weren't sure if you were going to use white? Oh, but you had so much white that you're using yours up. Gretchen, I wasn't sure I was going to use white either for the background. I had actually two other colors in mind. I wasn't even going to consider white because I thought, ooh, let's try something a little different. So I had that bright green, and I also had like a bright teal that I thought, ooh, both of these would be really cool for the background. Just fun and bright and different. But then the hubs looked at it and was like, why don't you just do white? I like white. And you know what? I think he's right. I laid out some of the fabrics on the white, and I think the white is actually going to make these fabrics stand out the most, I think. But I am going to use that bright green, like it's a bright grass green. I'm going to use that for the binding. So you'll have just like a bright green binding around these white things, which I think is just going to be really cool, like a really cool green tiny border, basically, which is kind of what the binding would be. And then that's what that will be. Cheryl, yep, we are just ironing today. So a couple videos ago, the way we work here is I work on projects from beginning to end, so you guys can be part of the process along the way. And you know, a lot of people sew and work with me while I do this. I did show the whole process, though, a few days ago. So we did go through the process of making one of these and cut into it. But now we're past that, and we are doing every little bit of it. But yeah, for sure, if you want to see kind of the process of making these blocks, go check out that video from a few days ago. Oh, hey Cindy, thanks for joining. Ooh, a pale yellow background, yeah, and that would be really beautiful as well. Yeah, this isn't really your normal how-to video where we're editing and quickly going through all the steps. We're doing the whole entire process here. I think we're just about done with this stack, though. I think we have maybe 8 more or so. But yeah, I think I'm going to, we'll cut them today. We'll do the diagonal cutting. And I think I might do the, trimming of them right at the same time. Just because then there'll be less movement of me, like, you know, like what I'm doing now, just picking it up and moving. If I can stick with just the one fabric and then have the squares afterwards, I think that'll be the way to go. Oh man, I love the wool pressing mat. For one, I can move it around so easy. I really do like it a lot, actually. If I had a larger space, I would have gotten the bigger one. But I'm just working in this itty bitty space here. Oh yeah, me too, Deborah. I mean, days like this when we're just pressing the whole time, it's days like this that it's fun to catch up and see what's happening with everyone and all that. So you guys will have to let me know how your Mother's Day was, if anyone did anything special. We didn't end up going to see any moms, but we got to talk to them for a little, and I spent the week or the weekend cleaning up. So this little craft area here is cleaned up. We got the kitchen cleaned up. My office is cleaned up a little, and man, that feels good. This is, I believe it's a 12-inch by 18-inch mat. Which is kind of like well, there is definitely a larger one. So this is kind of a little medium-sized one. I like it. I mean, you know, this is a 10-inch square, so it's handles this really well. And it's small enough that I can just shush it to the side. Oh, you got candy and flowers, Kathy. Nice. Oh, Deborah, that sounds nice. You want to get a wool mat, but so many sizes. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear what some of the reviews say. I know some of the reviews have said that it gives like a wet wool smell. I've only been using a dry iron on it, and it doesn't smell like that. Oh, you gave your mom a quilt and she cried. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Nolene got one of the larger size. My mom also got the larger size, and I think she's definitely happy with the larger size. I mean, I on purpose got this size because I am in a very kind of small workspace. Ooh, here's the last one. So small works for me. There are smaller ones. I don't know why I would want a smaller one. I know a lot of people do smaller kind of piecework stuff, but man, I don't know. I personally don't know why I would want anything smaller than this. If I had a bigger work area, I would get a bigger one. But, you know, actually this size is kind of nice. I can use it to carry stuff around too. I had this project sitting on it earlier and I could just lift the whole project up and bring it somewhere. It was nice. Okay, switching over. We are going to cut now. All right, got my folding cutting mat. I'm going to open that up. Okay, so now let me grab a ruler here. All right, we are going to cut on the diagonals here. So let's see, I think position-wise. Ooh, let's get my little glove on. Trying to be a little bit better about wearing my cutting glove. So again, we have sewn all the way around this with right sides together. We did our pattern fabric and then a piece of white fabric. That's going to be our background fabric. And now I'm going to just cut at the diagonal of each. I'm gonna go slow so I don't slip. You use steam on your mat, Gretchen, and it never smells. Yeah, I haven't really had an issue with that, but I know several people have mentioned that. Ooh, see, I've been working in a small space. This is got rulers everywhere. All right, so I don't want to move. I don't want to jostle these very much before I cut both diagonals. Okay, and there we basically have our 4 half square triangles. So there we go. They open up and we got 4 of them. They do need to be trimmed down. Ooh, that one's got a little blip in it. So I think I'm going to trim them right away. Oh, yours, Jenna, yours smells? Huh. I wonder why. Again, I haven't done any wet or steam with it, but I think it's supposed to be okay with that. Oh, Jenna, I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to use my slotted trimmers here, my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. This is a 6.5 inch one, and that's the size we need our block. So see, we got to trim it down just a hair. I'm going to put the dotted line on the seam here. All right, I think we'll get rid of our little dog ear. So I'm doing this now just because it'd be nice to finish cutting before moving on to another block. Okay. So there's one. So the way this slotted trimmers works, you know, it's probably not the most accurate tool. It'd probably be more accurate to press this open first. So like press it, you know, with the iron and everything, and then cut it. But, you know, in a pinch, this is kind of nice, and it cuts out a step. So what this does is instead of opening it and then cutting it, you leave it closed. Like you don't iron it open at all. You put the stitch line here along the dotted line here, and then you can get like there's a certain, you know, if I wanted a 5.5 inch square, ultimately I'd cut there, a 4.5. So you can kind of decide the size of your block beforehand. I want 6.5, and then I trim it. Then I only have to make 2 cuts versus 4, you know, cutting and then turning and then cutting more if I had it open. So this kind of takes out a couple cuts. And for a project like this, I mean, these blocks are big enough that I'm going to be able to sew my other strips on here, no problem, even if it's a hair smaller or bigger. So I think we're going to be fine. But yeah, so, and the little slots here, it does have little slots. That's just to cut the little dog ears off. So these little bits. So instead of the dog ears hanging over the edge, we're just trimming them. Since I'm using the full size of this, I just cut off the edge here. I don't need these little guys here. But yeah, so that's, I'm going to go through So this guy's ready to press open, and it'll be the right size. I won't have to trim it again. So let's see, we'll set those over here. So I'm gonna go through all 4 of these. Yes, you could totally use a triangle ruler for this too. The difference, yeah, a triangle ruler. The difference is you wanna make sure, the benefit of this is that it is thinking about the open half square triangle. So I need, I don't need my triangle a certain size. I need my half square triangle, the open version of it, a certain size. So this trimmer knows that if I cut on this particular size, it's going to end up being a 6.5 inch triangle, or a half square triangle, if that makes sense. I don't do a whole lot with triangle trimmers though, so those might act the same way too. So like, for example, so this says 6.5. That's not this measurement. This is not 6.5. This is 6.5 and this is 6.5. So when I open it, I will have a 6.5 inch square. That's how these guys work. But yeah, you could do the same as a triangle. And I could just press it open and using just a normal square ruler and, cut this out too. I think it's kind of fun using this just because I could do a couple less cuts. Like if I don't include these little dog ears, I just have to do 2 cuts instead of measuring, instead of doing like 2 cuts, rotating it because it's a square, and then doing the other 2 angles. It's kind of fun. I think on a smaller blocks, you might want to press open first, just in case it's or just to be a hair more accurate. Because when you press it open, the iron might shift things around a little bit and stuff. So for true super duper accuracy, this may not be the best, but for what we need it for, I like it. And it's faster. I did do a little time test of this versus the block lock ruler. Uh-oh. I did not quite get all that. And this was faster. I made a kind of a weird angle when I cut that side, so I must have let up a little there. All right, so that is it for the first square, the first 10-inch square. So this is going to take a little bit of time tonight. I'm not even sure if we'll get all the way done with this. So that was just 1 out of 31. So we got a ways to go here yet. So we are just going to cruise for a couple days doing this. But the nice thing is that I'm trimming them right away, so we won't have to go through that whole process again. We'll be ready to just press them open and sew the next little bits on. All right, our next 4. Get the slotted trimmer out again. All right. Yeah, this is not a good angle for me here. Thought maybe I'd come up with a way to do that a little bit easier, but meh. So we need a total of 168 of these triangles. So, it is a process. It is a monotonous little process, this. Ooh, I might just be getting a dull ruler here too. I've been meaning to change this this rotary cutter. I just haven't yet. I'll have to put it in my bag tomorrow to make sure I do it. All right, we're gonna have a lot of little fuzzles after today. Or are you guys talking about cleaning the wool mat? You can just soak it in a tub. Is that what you're saying? I have not tried to do that yet. Clean my mat. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I suppose kind of like if you're washing a wool sweater or something. Probably be similar to that. All right, just one more here, and we're on to another square. So this is going. Oh, the glove. You know, I think I put a link to it. I don't know. Does this help? It's No Cry, I think is the brand. I got the size small, a cut level 5. So in theory, you know, I don't have the blade on here, but in theory, I could scrape across this and it shouldn't cut me. That's the theory, right? I think it doesn't, you know, if I have an awl or something and I like go right through my hand, I don't think it'll protect from that. But from like slight scrapes and stuff like that, I think that's basically the reason. Or, you know, if you get your finger in there, I think that's, you know, it's supposed to help with that. And, you know, I've seen too many, I'm trying to get used to it still, but I've seen too many Facebook posts from people coming or going to the hospital because they rotary cut their finger open, and oh my God, that just freaks me out so much. And, you know, I'm on here late and, you know, a little sleepy from the day. I don't know if I'm alert enough to keep my fingers out of the way all the time. But I haven't cut myself yet, but I think it's just because I'm super duper paranoid. There is a quilting company that makes a glove for quilters, but I think it's only one hand that you can use the front or the back for it. Actually, I do have one of those at the office, but I liked these because it came with a left and a right one, so I can use it for free motion quilting too. Yeah, it's definitely gets some. You have to get used to it for sure. And I still have these big floppy fingers. I should just sew these in one day and trim them because I hate buying gloves. They're always just floppy fingers on me. All right. So I did actually look up these fabrics today. I do have to get the little sheet that I had them written down on though. But this particular collection, it must be a little older because I couldn't find it in many places anymore. But there didn't seem like there were that many more colors to the collection. So I was wondering what the other fabrics were to the collection. There seems like there might only be one more fabric, and it's the moon fabric, but instead of on a dark navy blue, it's on a black. So I mean, so as far as colors, you know, we're not far off from what the collection was intending it to be. So that's cool. Yeah, these are meant for like kitchen gloves or for like work gloves. Like if you're doing stuff with a saw. I mean, that's how it's promoted as. It's not promoted necessarily as like quilting related. See, I'm gonna chop off my fingers just because the tips of these are too long. So we got a stack going already. You know, I just, with all my leaders, yesterday I cut up a bunch of those, so those are all ready to iron as well one of these days. So there we go. I got 2 stacks about this tall. And that's just our leaders. That's just from having an end having ends for when we sew pieces together on the machine. A place to end our threads instead of just ending it on a spare piece of fabric. I'm ending it on an actual seam for another for more half square triangles. That's been a fun project. It's like, I call it the magic quilt because we're magically getting a whole other quilt out of just the leaders. Unfortunately, Jenna, my rotating cutting mat is not this big, I don't think. So it might actually be a little annoying on the rotating cutting mat. I'm just trying to get the right angle to do it. That, again, geez, I'm veering all over the place. My mom got the bigger rotating cutting mat, and I think that was the way to go. But again, I think that would have been too big for my little space. But right now, it would have worked really well. Okay, next up, got another one of these guys. They're kind of in pairs, it seems. This is a 10-inch square, Anne. It's from the pattern calls for a stack of layer cake, or like a layer cake, which is a stack of 10-inch squares like this. That's what the pattern is written for. I had to cut my own from yardage, but it's a 10-inch square. So basically a layer cake is, if you're looking at pre-cut fabric, that's what it would be called. Like if you were looking for fabric online, for example, for this project, and you want to make it easier for yourself and not have to cut a whole pile of stuff, like save yourself 2 days, then just try and get a layer cake of whatever collection you want. If you're looking at a full collection of something for this project. But yeah, so I think for the 100, you can tell me if my math is wrong, but for the 168 for a king size, and you can do whatever size you want. I mean, you know, I think these blocks are going to end up being around 8 inches once it's in the quilt, I believe. It'll be close to that. So just however big you want the quilt, you know, do a multiple of 8 or whatever. And that's how many blocks. But yeah, so for the king size, which is kind of what I'm doing here, it will be 168 blocks. So in the pattern, it shows 168 blocks. And to do that, you need a 42 quantity, 42 stack of a layer cake, which is common apparently. So a layer cake is the 10-inch squares and a stack of 42 of them. That's what you'll typically get in a layer cake, and that's what this pattern requires. So if you're doing it with layer cakes, you'll need a patterned stack, so 1 layer cake of a pattern and 1 layer cake of whatever your background fabric is. So in my case, it would be a layer cake of white, and then the layer cake of these cute little guys here. But again, I did not have a layer cake, so I had to cut my own layer cake, and I didn't have enough fabric for a whole layer cake, so I had some leftover strips of fabric, and I cut the remaining 168 half square triangles out of that. Oh gosh, I'm just cutting horribly today. So I think from the squares I could cut out of my fabric, I was able to get 124. So I needed to get 40 more half square triangles out of just strips. Took forever. I mean, this would have gone so much faster if I just had those layer cakes. But oh well. We're doing it now. Now it's as if we had the layer cake, working with these 10-inch bits. Jeez, yeah, I'm veering off. All right. Oh, that's it. Moving to the next. Yeah, so we're going to, for sure, just be doing this for the rest of the night here. And we'll be doing this for probably quite a bit of time tomorrow yet. But after that, we will be starting to sew the sashing on, and that's kind of it for these blocks. Yeah, I definitely need a new blade. Oh, I rock the yardage. Yeah, I got super lucky. I got, what did I get? I got a half yard of each of these, and there were 8 fabrics that I got. So a half a yard of 8 fabrics, and that was almost exactly what I needed for the 168 half square triangles. So I was able to get a row, like cutting the width of fabric. I was able to get 4 10-inch squares out of that, the width of the fabric, because the width of fabric is usually 42 inches. So I was able to get 4 10-inch squares. And then I had a little bit left over, like 8 inches, or wait, 18 inches. Yeah, I had 8 inches left over, and that was enough to get that 5-inch strip that we were able to make our remaining half square triangles out of. So we did that already. So that was kind of a fun process. I hadn't made half square triangles that way before with 2 strips sewn together. So that'd be fun. So we did two ways of half square triangles for this project that I don't typically use either of those 2 ways, and they were both kind of fun. One way being this 10-inch square that you sew all the way around. Oh, half yard fabric cuts are your favorite when you can do it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just I liked I liked the fabric before I knew exactly what I was going to make out of it, even though I knew what I was going to make out of it about while she was actually cutting the fabric. Because I picked up the pattern while she was actually cutting this fabric, but I just had her get a half a yard of each because a yard is kind of a lot, and if they had fat quarters, I probably would have just gotten a couple of fat quarters, which is a quarter of a yard, just because I thought it was cute. But since it was just off the bolt, I wasn't going to make her cut fat quarters, so I just got half yards, which is which is the same as getting 2 fat quarters. And there were only 8. It wasn't like I got a whole collection or something. I mean, collections can sometimes have, 30 plus fabrics in it. Yeah, this is definitely sounding like I need a new blade too. So tomorrow we'll put a new blade on and we'll see if it feels any different. So this is actually the other collection, this one. Oh my God, look how cute those ponies are. So this one isn't from the same collection as the moons and the stars and all that. Oh, Athena, that sounds awesome. I hope you're liking it. Athena says she has a new job working in fabric in a sewing machine store. Ooh, how fun. Bet you get to see all the new stuff all the time then. I just think it'd be fun to just touch all that fabric every day. I would have to touch it all. I don't know why I do touch all the fabric when I see it. Out of here. There we go. Oh, it's dangerous. I bet. Working in a fabric shop. Oop. Wiggling a little bit. All right, next block. It's another one of these cute little ponies. I think this collection is called something like Best Friends Forever or something like that. I'm going to have to look it up. I did look it up. I just have to grab my little piece of paper that I wrote it down on. But I thought it was kind of a sweet name. Oop. I shifted these apart a little bit. Get those together. I'm really glad that I'm trimming these down right away because that would have been a super annoying process. Oh, Leslie Ann says that she worked 3 years in a fabric shop and she still has leftover fabric. I bet for sure. All right, you wouldn't have any pay left at the end of the week if you worked in a fabric shop. Oh man, dangerous for sure. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm not even sure if this is cutting through fabric anymore, and I think my other blade is even worse. So yeah, actually I should bring both in. They both need new blades. I have all my blades are over at the shop, so I don't think I have any in the house anymore. Oh, you cut them all at once and now you're trimming them, Kathy? Yeah, that's typically what I would do, but this time I don't know. I don't know if I can bear doing that. So we're doing the opposite of what I just said we were going to do. I said we were kind of factory doing this, doing one step before any other step. But in this case, gosh, I veered again. In this case, I'm combining 2 steps. I guess in my head, it's less movement of fabric. Like I already have this trimmed and it's sitting here. Let's just trim the rest of it is, I guess, where my thinking's at. Oh, this is going to take ages to cut through, I think. Like I said, I'm always just kind of surprised at these tasks. I'm so used to just doing one little block at a time that when you multiply it by 168, all these simple, easy tasks end up taking a long time. But I still think it's going to be super cute. So this project started because I saw this cute fabric and I had to make something out of it right away. I didn't want it sitting around. I wanted it to be something right away. So it wasn't in vain. That's why. So my purchasing fabric was not done in vain. It's turning into something right away. Use these cute little rainbows. What is the name of the ruler? Oh, I'm using a Fisker's ruler here. Or do you mean the cutter? That is that triangle thing. That is the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. I think I have a link to that here. Oh, this one, it's cool with the larger print. Yeah, so this is a Fisker's, it's just a Fisker's, I don't know, 6-inch by 24-inch ruler. I'm sure if you Google that, I might actually have a link to it in here as well, but that will get you it. And I always put these little True Grips on them. I should probably get some new ones on or wipe these off. And that helps so much to not have, I'm really kind of pushing on it, and you can see it's not shifting at all, versus this one where I don't have it on yet. I should get some on, but like this, it moves all over the place. But with these grippers, these True Grip stickers, It's not moving at all. And that's so helpful for cutting. Because usually I just, we'll veer off, and with these grippers, that's one of my favorite quilting tools actually, are those True Grip stickers. And people have said that you can use some other, like, what is it, like that medical tape stuff, but I got some of that and I could not, it just didn't seem as good as these stickers. I couldn't, it still moved around for me, unless I'm just not getting the right stuff, which could be too. Yeah, I didn't like it as much as the True Grips. Oh, you just cut solid blocks, by 40. That's quite a bit of fabric too. Or same motions doing 40 of something. Yeah, because this we only have 32, and this seems like a lot. "40 of one action, or one step." Ooh, that cut felt natural. Like I didn't have to think about that. So maybe now I have instinct on for cutting this. That'd be cool. So we'll sit around and cut these for about another 15 minutes and see how far we get. Well, we'll check. We'll see. We'll count how many we have left. That'll give us a sense of how long it'll take tomorrow. We started with 31. But we don't have to iron them before we do it like we did today. So will save us a little time. I'm hoping we get all these done tomorrow. I don't want to spend days cutting this. I want to be done. I'm excited to press these open, which is crazy to say because I kind of hate the pressing step too. Pressing and cutting, but I do enjoy it with these half square triangles because you open them up and then you get to see how cute they are. So man, pretty fabric definitely makes the process nicer. We're getting through these though. Little rainbows are sweet. Oh, I think there were a couple colorways of this. Oh wait, I have the white. So it's on gray, these little rainbows, and then I think there's a version where it's on white. I think there was maybe another gray version where the rainbow colors were a little bit different. So I guess there was another version of this too when I looked at the whole collection. But in general, let's just peek. In general, there wasn't a huge color selection in this line of fabrics, which I actually thought was kind of nice. Oh, God, they're sweet. Look how cute it's gonna be. Oh, I could do that. We could press a little bit tonight. We could press the ones we have done. Let's do a quick count now. I still have to trim these, so we'll do that. But yeah, we could do that. We could do like half and half, or let's see how many we have left here. Oh my gosh, there's a ton left. So we could do it in thirds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we are so not even halfway. Oh, is that 10? Yeah, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 is about half. We'll say we'll put the 16 on here because that's kind of half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ugh. Yeah, this is taking a while. But let's see, what time is it now? You know what? I like that idea. Let's finish trimming this one and then we'll press. We'll leave a few minutes at the end of each of these evenings to press, because you're right, it is nice to see them open. So we're cheating again, but I like it. Once we get sewing again, we'll sew every little bit all at once. we're not really cheating. We can do whatever we want. All right, so we'll finish these other 3. Again, we're just gonna do these trimmings, and let's get the iron heated up again. Yeah, we'll press all these guys open. That'll feel good. That'll feel really good because, I don't know, it'll be a little sense of accomplishment that our finished pile gets a little bit larger, our finished half square triangle pile. Oh man, you guys, I started swimming again today. I did not swim over the weekend. And there was a really good swimmer swimming today. And she was just super fast and good and, you know, clearly knows what she's doing, obviously. But she could just swim like lap over lap over lap, and it just didn't look like she was tired at all. And man, that would be kind of amazing. So she's my new pool hero. Ugh, it's that endurance that swimming just tires you out. So man, that she could just go lap over lap, just super fast and good, was pretty cool. Felt good to do that again though. Oh, and the folks that do the underwater turns. So I do try and do that. I don't do those all the time, just because sometimes they're just tiring, or I don't know. I must not be doing them quite right if they're making me tired, but I'm just getting back into it again. But yeah, it was cool to see that woman swim today. She was just awesome. Oh yeah, you should be your own competition. It was just neat. I don't feel like, you know, their competition. I just feel like, wow, that would be really neat to get to that point. It was an inspiration, not competition. All right, let's flip this guy out of the way. I typically just do freestyle, but in school, when in swim team over 20 years ago now, back in high school, I did distance freestyle, which there's no way I'd be able to do that now. That's what I'm talking about, like the endurance that this person had. It was like, dang, I cannot do that. And that used to be my event, was the distance. I don't even remember what the distance was anymore, actually. Gosh, that's, yeah, how much I remember from there. But I did do backstroke too, although I think I like the freestyle better. So typically I'll just try and do freestyle in the pool. I don't really have a plan. Look how cute. I don't have like an exercise routine that I'm really doing or anything now, but I figure my goal right now is to just be going. You know what I mean? Consistency. That's goal number 1. I can tweak my routine or whatever as I go, but if I can stay consistent, that's priority 1. So far so good, which I'm pretty excited about. Exactly, Noeline. Yeah, I don't think I ever had to do the butterfly in an event, but we practiced it. I always thought that looked cool. I always kind of like doing that just because I thought it looked the coolest. But now I'm telling you, I've been watching those. I'm like renewed. I have a renewed love for YouTube because I've just been watching swimming videos, which is the like nerdiest thing, I think. Just watching swimming videos of like coaches breaking down people's freestyle strokes and stuff. I just find it completely fascinating. And so these blocks are ending up being 6.5 inches. And I'm pressing towards the patterned side. And I'm trying to be consistent with all of them in that. I'm pressing them all the exact same way. But yeah, I kind of feel like I learned a lot from the videos. I don't know if I'm executing them right or anything. But anyway, it's just fun. It's my new form of entertainment, is watching swimming videos. Yeah, so again, this is from that block. Just if you guys are wondering the pattern, again, it's from this Missouri Star Quilt Co., their block magazine. I did put a direct link to it. It's a fall, get in focus here. It's Fall Volume 1. Here, maybe this will make it focus. There we go. Fall Volume 1, Issue 5. And they do have a digital version on their site, which is awesome, so you can download it right away. My hair has been fine so far for the chlorine. I mean, you know, I don't have blonde hair or anything, so it's not like turning green or anything. So I don't know. So far, so good. My skin does smell like chlorine, though. If you have a 10-inch, because of the way we're cutting them. So this is the 10-inch square. They end up being 6.5 inches because we're actually using, you know, it's the hypotenuse here. So like this is our cut. We're rotating it like that. And now this is our 6.5. So in the block, the 6.5 is here, right? So it's 10 inches here, and then we got about 6.5 on either side here. That's how they end up being like that. Oh, I've never been in a saltwater pool, I don't think. I kind of like that smell a little bit. It's kind of like, oh, there's some horrible smells. Like if you're a photographer and you go in a dark room and you have those chemicals, that photochemical smell. I think if you're a photographer and you hadn't smelled that smell in a while and then you smelled it, I think that would be a pretty good smell. Or like, you know, if you live in Wisconsin and you smell the cows every once in a while, like just the dairy cows or whatever, that smell. I actually think the Fleet Farm smell is like a good, yummy smell. That's just like, oh, I'm back at Fleet Farm. There was a Fleet Farm by us when we grew up, and I just always like the smell of the Fleet Farm. So whenever I smell that, it's just like a special smell. So that's kind of what chlorine is to me, I guess. Yeah, this really is an easy pattern. There are a lot of other really cool patterns in the book, and I think the digital version's like less than $5. I think it's like $4.95 or something. But yeah, it has been just really nice working on a quilt top or just like a quilt block that's just so easy and you don't have to hardly think at all. It's just really relaxing. This is, you know, for the Splendid Sampler 2 project that we're working on, that's more like a technical feat that we're getting through, like a class. That's almost like a class where we're learning stuff all the time. This is just our chill and watch Netflix, basically. The equivalent of chilling and watching Legally Blonde, which I did this weekend, versus taking a really interesting class. Both relaxing, but different. You love this quilt because it's a bigger print to showcase it, and that is the absolute single reason why I chose this quilt, this pattern, because I wanted a pattern to showcase the fabric. I didn't want to chop up all this fabric. because I mean, that's why I bought this fabric, is because I thought it was just so cute. And so I didn't want to chop it all up, like exactly what you're saying. I wanted to showcase the fabric. So I saw this quilt. They had a big sample of it on the wall, and I'm like, that's the perfect quilt for this. It showcases off the little fabric bits, and they had a little sign that it was from this book, so I found the book and got that too when I was there. So, but yeah, so it was really nice seeing that finished sample. But yeah, exactly. It's a way for me to showcase this fabric because it's so adorable. Yeah, and you don't have to, you don't really have to line up everything. It's so easy. I mean, you make these half square triangles, and I think that's the point of interest, is the half square triangles, how they're made, because this isn't the way, this is a way to make half square triangles. It's not how we've been doing it very often here. So there's so many ways to do half square triangles, and this is just another way to do it. So that's kind of the fun, is we get to do, we get to try this other way of doing half square triangles, and then the rest is just lining up seams and sewing. It's just easy. We have just 2 sashing pieces basically to sew onto this. And then I think the other clever thing with this pattern is how the rows are sewn together, like how these blocks are flipped and turned after they're made. I think that's what puts together the quilt in the end. So that's what we're going to have to pay attention to, and I think that's going to be the clever bit, how it's all laid out. So I'm excited for that. And we'll get there. It does feel good to be using up this fabric right away, though. Oh yeah, Dandy Annie would be really cute too. When you cut them into pizza slices and open them. Oh, I missed part of that. Oh, I'd love to do a cathedral window block quilt too one of these days. That's kind of on my back of my head list. I don't need another project though now. This was an unexpected project. This is actually an unexpected fabric buy. I mean, aren't they all kind of? But, you know, I wasn't expecting to go to the Missouri Star Quilt Co. But all of a sudden I was there, and then I had to buy fabric. It was on the way home from visiting my brother, and I'm like, wait a sec, that's right by us. So we had a little pop-up project in the middle of our bigger Splendid Sampler project here. A little break. Like I said, it's like watching some Netflix for a little. All right, we are almost done pressing all these. We got about 8 or so yet. But we're definitely adding to our stack. And I think you're right. This is nice to press these open. It does feel like we're further along. We do have a big stack to go through, but at least we're finishing it up as we go. I like that. We'll be sewing the sashing on these guys in no time. This week. We'll be doing it this week for sure. Ugh, these stars are cute. Oh, I didn't notice there's actually little stars in between the big stars. Oh, my fabric would be cute for this quilt. Yeah, you could totally show off little animals and stuff. That'd be fun. Oh, wow, Gretchen. Fort Snelling is beautiful. Oh, should you bring a winter coat? I think you're good now. It's actually in the 70s today. I do think they're saying it might be a little rainy, but no, you don't need your winter coat anymore, thank goodness. I suppose it's how used you are to the heat, though, or to the, if you're coming from somewhere where it's been 90 degrees for the past month or whatever, then you might want a warm coat. But if you live in a cooler area, then this will be like a welcoming kind of 70-degree kind of week. But I do think it's going to get a little rainy, so you might want to bring a raincoat or something for that. But yeah, no winter coat, thank goodness. Oh my God, it lasted forever and ever and ever this year, that heat, or that cold, I mean. Oh, you're coming from Atlanta, it's been the low 80s. Okay, yeah, so it'll probably feel a little cool to you. So, you know, a long sleeve wouldn't hurt. My parents are actually coming up this weekend. My dad is taking a glass blowing class that we got him for Christmas, I think. So that'll be kind of neat to see what he does in that. All right, 2 more after this guy. Oh, wow, Gretchen. Oh, how, that is just such a neat thing to have done. So that people can learn and stuff. Oh, glass blowing is popular around you again? Oh, for fun. All your family is crafters. I think my dad is doing a lot more crafty related things now that he's retired, so that's kind of neat. Oh, you love glass blowing and fused glass. Oh, wow, you did, Sue. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. That is really something. All right, this is the last one. Look at these happy sunshines. I hope it looks like these happy sunshines all week and that the rain just stays away. That'd be pretty slick. All right, so there we are. So look at our stack now. It's getting heftier. Not quite our 168 yet, but they're looking freaking cute. So this gets you the kind of the gist of what the quilt will look like in general. So kind of the grays, a little bit of yellow, but just smiley, a smiley quilt. That's what we're gonna have to call this guy, smiley quilt. But yeah, like I said though, we didn't even get halfway through the stack today. So we'll cut more tomorrow, and I think we'll do the same thing once it gets, you know, close to time. We'll stop and press them. So we should have pretty much the bulk of all our squares done tomorrow, and maybe about this many more to do the next day. But I think that would be Wednesday. So I think Wednesday we'll actually be hopefully starting to sew our sashing pieces on. So here's all our sashing. Look at all of it. So we gotta get that on too. So sewing on Wednesday again, I'm thinking. All right, you guys, I am going to flip you around and we'll get going. Oh, Sue, am I making this quilt for anyone special? Right now it's being made so I can look at the fabric. I have no idea, but you know, I've been thinking about that a little bit more lately because we keep making these quilts. I'm just gonna have tons and tons of quilts just hanging around. So we're gonna need someone to give them to soon. Oh my God, look how cute though. This definitely, I would say, showcases the fabric. So I'm stoked. So a little bit more of the same tomorrow, you guys. More, we won't be having to press them to begin with like what we did today. We'll just start the diagonal cutting, trimming, and at the end of the evening, we will press them all open again. I'm happy that we pressed them open because it'll get us to sewing. It feels like we'll be sewing faster. How about that? You have a ton of quilts, Sue. Yeah, they just kind of keep adding up, don't they? But, you know, it gets cold here. We use them. So awesome, you guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow then. I'll be back here at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on the Penguin and Fish Facebook page. And this will get up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies when we're done here now. So thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. Good night.